I felt Joker's new music video, Dead Horse, had a lot of meaning not to just Tech Nine and Hobson, but to people and the fans of Funk Volume, Strange, and the Joker. It became like this triangle of hatred and animosity. Um, One of the things that got me in the music video was when he referenced back to Trail of Destruction. When he said this is basically where the Trail of Destruction ends. It's over. It's done with. And he goes back and states what had happened. And he says he sees it from a different light. Is basically what it is. Personal story with me, real quick, on why this music video means a lot to me and why um, I got into Joker in the first place. Joker was introduced to me from my buddy Joe. Joe showed me some music. I kind of liked it. I listened to Joker before I ever listened to Hobson, but I was listening to Tech back in 2005. And Joker said he got to listen to Tech 9 in 2008. Well, I'm not sure if you guys remember this. It was Yahoo Music, which is basically what Pandora is right now, where you could listen to Insane Clown Posse Radio. And other songs and other music artists would play on this station. Well, Tech Nine was one of them, and the first song I heard from him was Amatel, and I thought that song was all right. So I went and found it, and back when we were burning CDs, and it was our only form of music because we didn't have MP3 players back then, or at least they were just coming out. Got that onto a CD, and learned Tech Nine came out with a bunch of other stuff, and I kind of followed him from there. Some stuff I liked, some stuff I didn't. I wouldn't say I was a real Strange Music fan. I wasn't even aware Strange Music was a record label. I didn't comprehend record labels in 2008. They weren't a big deal to me, really. I mean, I think the only record label that I felt had a different vibe than anything else was Psychopathic. And I've had my issues with certain people, with certain incidents. And I held on to that bitterness, and it got bad enough to where, yeah, I was writing lyrics. I actually did a song that crossed some lines. I mean, crossed some serious lines. And Joe, for whatever reason, when him and I were making music, something happened with the song, or we didn't like it, or something had happened to where the song was never put out. And it bothered me that it never did because I really wanted to get that out there. But after seeing Dead Horse and seeing it from another light, because I kind of leaned on Joker a little bit to be like, look, listen, he validated his reason on his issues with Tech, and on his issues with Hobson, and with Funk Volume and the record labels and how they run. And I've seen that he doesn't have he's got a gimmick, but he was saying in one of his songs, you know, and they're lying to you, and anyone who's lying to you has a permanent enemy in me. It's a song, Permanent Enemy. And there's actually clips of that music video in Dead Horse. But uh, I guess how I felt with the music video was well done. It was highly anticipated, and I'm sure a lot of people were thinking it was going to be another beef track. I didn't think it was going to be, in all honesty. I felt that I didn't comment, I didn't anything with this video because I knew what was coming after Joker had given a happy birthday shout out to Tech Nine. He said, "Look, listen, I know I had my issues with you back in the day, but that shit's old. You're still one of the dopest rappers alive." And that's when I knew he wasn't going to come back with a diss track, and I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know if they were going to be featured in it. A lot of people were expecting it to be a diss track, but in all honesty, I wasn't. Um, which I felt was a good thing. Uh, I liked how he went about it. I liked the fact that Hobson was in the music video. As much as I'm not a fan of Hobson's music, it's nothing against him. I'm just not a fan of his music, which is allowed. I felt the music video had a lot of powerful points to it. I felt that the song was should have been, even if it was just a track, it would have been great, but the music video definitely had some poetic justice to it. It was needed to show the old clips and the old things that had happened. I'm pretty sure there was things that happened in Joker's life where he looked back and went, and he says in the music video, I'll never get a collaboration with Tech. I burn bridges. Yeah, I lost a good friend, and he's giving advice to, like, if you've got this kind of anger, and you've got this, they might not forgive you. You can't control what they do with it, but you can do what's right by you, and you can do things right on your end, which is a hard pill for me to swallow and for me to try and practice. I don't seem like it on YouTube, but I am an asshole. There's things that have happened that shouldn't have. There's things that I reacted to that I shouldn't have. There are things I should not have done that I did do that could have caused harm to somebody. But my anger got the best of me. Long story short, I had to sell a gun. That's as far as I'll go into it. I didn't shoot anybody. I didn't commit murder. I didn't assault anybody. I was protected under a law, which is basically the only thing that saved my ass. In the state of New Hampshire, we have a uh, back when this was alive. I'm not sure if the senators. I'm not sure if it's been passed again or whatnot. But there was this thing where the senator came in and says, "I don't want New Hampshire to have just a castle law where you can defend yourself in your home by any means, but any place you have the right to be." I didn't know this law existed until after an incident happened. And it was out of pure hatred, and it was out of uh, there was a bit of a stipulation. It was, anyways. But I kind of look back and I'm like, there were things where I should have done things differently. And because Jokerr was putting out beef tracks and he was exposing his hatred and doing things that people thought were unorthodox or childish, which Jokerr admits that they were. I saw it as I understand where he's coming from, and I stood by Joker's decision and what he had done. As much as I liked Tech Nine, I still stuck by it. I could kind of empathize with getting turned away, getting shot down every time you try and do something, and I used that as kind of a fuel for my fire. Like, if Jokerr went through this and he's doing it this way, I can do it in a similar way. Even though I'm not a music artist, I could still put my hatred out there through letters, through lyrics, through trying to do just small tracks, and it put things in a different perspective for me. And maybe it was a rock that had been moved, perhaps, where well, Jokerr did this, and I kind of clung on to that as like my only rope saved me from falling. And now that that's gone, I'm like, well, I guess I've got no reason now. There's nobody. Well, I'm sure there's other people out there that would feel the same way I do. And I got screwed over on a lot of big things, including things that could change my life forever. And I'm not talking money. This will wait until later. But basically, things that have happened in my personal life, I kind of wish I could go back and be like, you want to know something that's I overreacted. Something clicked in my brain where a lot of the bad shit that I was put through, and I guess I could have done it differently rather than showing hatred and animosity. I could have walked out the better man, and didn't do so. And I heard Joker's music, and that was basically my wall to hide behind. Like, he did it, and it was perfectly okay for him to do it. So, I guess I'm kind of put into a situation where I got to look back and go, there's some shit that I should have changed, that I shouldn't have done. However, I'll end this with one thought. As well as the music video was done, and as great as the message that put out, if it wasn't for Trails of Destruction, I probably would not know who Jokerr was. And Jokerr actually gave me some sound advice. I didn't think he would ever message me back, but there were some things I talked to him about that I felt, again, him being that wall that I could hide behind, like, hey, look, listen, this guy did it, why am I any different? Why should I be treated any different? I'm willing to accept the consequences. But when he gave me this advice, I I took it, and it worked well for me. Some things I did not listen to him on. I felt that it'd be better to prove him wrong. However, I was sitting down with some friends, and I said this in my 100th video, but I'll say it again because it's pertinent to this music video. As much as Joker says, I wish I wouldn't have done this, I wish I wouldn't have done that. Well, the flight over butterfly's wings will affect somebody halfway around the world. Butterfly effect. The smallest thing that happens can change a whole bunch of things. Butterfly flies over to California. There's a typhoon over in Taiwan. But I sat down with some friends and I asked them. We were just sitting down, not doing anything special, and I says, hey Tyler, would you go back and change anything in the world? And he said, man, I'd go back and I'd change probably a million things. And I says, all right, with that in mind, what we're doing right here, right now, would you go back and change anything knowing that it could make it so that way? This right here, us just hanging out, chilling, talking, would not happen. He went, not a damn chance. So you got to look at it like that. Like, yeah, what's said has been said, but you can look at it from a fatalist point of view where it was bound to happen. You can look at it from, these actions could have actually done somebody more good than harm, somebody more harm than good. Joker being a catalyst and certainly a victim to his own animosity and hatred, which he kind of pokes at in Dead Horse. But he says, the things I said about Funk Volume, things I said about Strange, and it's a dead horse now. So check out the music video. The link is in the description for the music video. Let me know what you think. I'm sure a lot of you guys have a lot of people diss on Joker, but when you think about it, I can promise a lot of you have done very similar, if not the exact same thing, and even gone further than what Joker did.